Hi, my name is Kunal Anand. I am a second year MBA student at Schulich School of Business with a focus towards entrepreneurship and strategy. I am from Mumbai, India.
So my full name is Saptarshi Sen Gupta, and I am from India, Kolkata, and I am doing my masters. I'm now in my second year of my masters in biology, and I'm willing to transfer my masters into a PhD now.
Sure. So my full name is Nakshita Arora. I'm currently a second year MBA student at Schulich School of Business, specializing in marketing and strategy, and I'm originally from Mumbai, India.
Okay. Okay.
Firstly, the biggest shock that was there was the climate change. Like I boarded a flight at 36 degrees Celsius back home, and I landed myself here at minus 15, which was definitely something that shook me from within, I would say. Uh, but in terms of how do I go manage uh, conditions like that? I think there is no material or clothing back in India which I could have bought here, which would really um, help me get uh, or feel warm in minus 15 out here. So my whole strategy was to get in and try and understand what are the places, what are the brands, which is what is something good, what is a good investment in terms of getting winter clothing, winter boots, so on and so forth. So I started googling a little bit where when I was at home. When I came here, I started talking to people and understanding from their experiences as to what to go about. The second issue that one faces is moving to a new country. All of a sudden, you need to figure out the roof on your head. So the first thing, as I did, was I booked an Airbnb for about 1 week when I was in India, and I got a Airbnb in Vaughan. What you don't realize when you are in another country is when you see on Google Maps that Vaughan is just 15 minutes away from York University. You need to understand that that's by car, and the difference by public transport is of another 45 minutes. So my Airbnb was almost about an hour away from the university or around the place that I was trying to look for. So you really need to figure that out first. And in my case, it worked quite well because I had just booked an Airbnb for 7 days. But there are people who book it for a month, and in that case, you get caught up in traveling every day. It wears you out and things like that. Secondly, in terms of getting a housing accommodation, when I moved in here as an international student during the winter, almost everyone that I had heard of from my cohort did not get a student housing. So we were all sort of, from our conditions or situations, forced to look for accommodations off campus, whether that was the village, whether that was around the subway line. And I think international relations at school really, gives you those guidelines. But as a student, coming here, putting your luggage somewhere, traveling in the cold, and trying to find an accommodation that you think you can live in for the next 1 year is definitely tough. So that is a challenge that needs to be managed. The third thing is definitely the food. So clothing, shelter, and now I'm coming on to food. So in terms of food, you need to be, but that depends from person to person. Someone who's from a different culture, how ready are you to try new things out? It took me quite a while to understand. I mean, and obviously because you need to like figure out where you stay, and then only then you can cook. But it takes some time to really understand where do you get the right groceries which cater to your style of cooking or your culture of cooking and so on.
So yeah, so the care aspect could have been better. I would suggest some examples of maybe official things. Yeah, so at first when we came here, we had to submit our original documents to the Bennett Center. And it was like, obviously it was far away, and people were like, okay, just go to the center where they collect your documents and just submit it to them. But you don't know where it is, and you maybe at some point you don't even know that it's Bennett Center. Now I know because I have been there. But initially it was like you just have to submit it there. Go find yourself where you have to submit. But for an international student, it's a very big deal because you don't know the campus, you don't know the places, and most importantly, you don't have friends who may know.
Actually, yeah, that is a very good question because I have had to like get help on that because in terms of paperwork, like for small thing like when it came to filing my taxes, that was I did it for the first time, and I did not really understand what was provided in terms of the information from the university. So I took help from reaching out to my relatives who are here and friends and family, and I asked them, can you help me? And that's how I filed my taxes.
Definitely be helpful. I mean, who doesn't like structured information, right? If I could have a trusted source which would tell me that, hey, I think this is nice, this is the right way to find it, or this you go about it, because you end up making, and I think especially like from an international student's perspective, every international student makes the same mistakes and learns from their mistake. But what if you could find a way to not reinvent?
So if I can understand correctly, if you're saying if there's an interface which says okay, filing taxes, and I can log in and click that and like file for an appointment or something, yeah, I would.
They will be willing to pay maybe a affordable amount just to get a guide throughout this place if they can. And I would definitely recommend someone, if not you are willingly doing it as a community service, you can just get paid, but the payment obviously should be in a certain range where the student can afford. Or
Depends. If it is something under the university, of course not, because I'm an international student. I'm paying a lot, a huge amount of international fees. So I think that this is something that the university can offer.